Liechtenstein, a tiny, landlocked principality in the heart of Europe. When we think of World War I, we tend to focus on the major powers like Germany, France, and Britain. But today, we're going to look at the surprising role of a small nation that, despite its size, was not entirely absent from the war. Welcome to the story of Liechtenstein during World War I. Liechtenstein is a country with a population of just over 4,000 people in 1914, and a land area of only 160 square kilometers. Situated between Switzerland and Austria, it was officially a neutral state at the onset of World War I. But neutrality wasn't as simple as it sounds in the context of a global conflict. Despite its size and status, the country had to navigate tricky international politics. Like Switzerland, Liechtenstein declared itself neutral in the war. Neutrality was a delicate balance to maintain, especially when it came to the complex relationships between the Central Powers, Germany and Austria-Hungary, and the Allies. However, unlike Switzerland, which had a long-standing policy of neutrality, Liechtenstein's political landscape was shaped by its relationship with Austria. The country had been in a customs union with Austria since 1852, which meant that while it maintained its sovereignty, many of its economic and foreign policies were influenced by its much larger neighbor. Although neutral, Liechtenstein did not completely stay out of military matters. In fact, in the early days of the war, Liechtenstein, due to its union with Austria, was called upon to contribute soldiers. Surprisingly, the country sent about 80 men to fight in the war, but their role was far less significant than one might expect. These soldiers, equipped in the uniforms of the Austro-Hungarian army, were not stationed on the front lines. In fact, most of them saw little action. They were mostly assigned to rear or support roles, far away from the bloodshed of the Western Front. Liechtenstein's political strategy during the war was focused on maintaining its neutrality. It was in constant communication with Austria-Hungary and other major powers to ensure that it didn't get dragged into the conflict. In 1914, Liechtenstein took a significant step in distancing itself from Austria-Hungary by officially establishing its own diplomatic service. Before this, foreign policy was managed by Vienna. One of the most interesting aspects of this move was Liechtenstein's efforts to preserve its neutrality by withdrawing from any association with wartime alliances. The country also went so far as to not allow any foreign military forces to station troops on its soil, though its land was small enough that this wasn't a major issue. World War I had a significant impact on the economy of most European countries, and Liechtenstein was no exception. The war disrupted trade routes and the global economy, which hurt the country's finances. Still, Liechtenstein was fortunate to have its customs union with Switzerland, which helped shield it from some of the more severe effects of the war. After the war, however, Liechtenstein faced a changing political landscape. The collapse of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the shifting borders of Europe meant that Liechtenstein needed to secure its independence more than ever. In 1923, the country entered into a new customs agreement with Switzerland, which proved to be an important step in securing its long-term stability. So, what was the lasting impact of World War I on Liechtenstein? While the country didn't play a major military role, the war did have profound consequences for its political and economic landscape. The war highlighted Liechtenstein's reliance on Austria and, by extension, Europe's shifting geopolitical order. After the war, Liechtenstein fully embraced its role as a neutral and independent state. The Treaty of Sundtherme, which ended World War I and dissolved the Austro-Hungarian Empire, didn't directly affect Liechtenstein's status. But it did encourage the country to define itself as a sovereign entity, separate from Austria, and start building stronger diplomatic ties with Switzerland and other nations. While Liechtenstein's role in World War I may seem small on the surface, the decisions it made during the war set the stage for the country's future as an independent and neutral state. The war highlighted the importance of diplomacy, neutrality, and economic stability for a small country navigating turbulent global waters. Today, Liechtenstein is known for its peaceful neutrality, thriving economy, and independent stance on the world stage, a legacy shaped in part by the events of World War I. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And let us know if you'd like to hear more about the lesser-known stories from World War.